Hello everyone, welcome to my IG live. Let's wait a little bit for people to populate a bit. Yeah. Hello Automate. Hello everyone. Infobox. Hello Bills Mafia. Great, there are some people coming in. Let me know if you can hear me and I will start. Is the quality okay? What's up, Yuki? It's been a while since I last did the IG Live. What's up? Audio is clear, great. Perfect, yeah. Cool, nice to see lots of friends. So today, my plan is to go over the PaniniBlockchain World Cup Prizm packdrop tomorrow. So I'll go over a bit of the basic info, right? And I wrote some notes just in case my mind wanders off. I'll talk a little bit about the PaniniBlockchain, a little bit, and then depending on whether there are some people who want to join me to discuss, we can do some of that after all this, right? What's up, Jonas? Right, so yeah, let's just wait for one more minute and then we start. Hello, Nero. Nice to see you guys here. Yeah. So I did a bunch of XSpace, right? And the first time I did IG Live in the recent months, the XSpace actually doesn't like my German connection. I have to switch to US line. But glad everything works here. If you cannot hear me or there's some problem, just let me know in the chat and I will. And also ask any questions as I go through things. Right, so today's occasion is about two things, right? One is on this day, exactly 5 years ago, PaniniBlockchain released the first ever packdrop. It's called a Prizm Debut Red. And if you go to the set, right, 300 players, number one is LeBron, and you check the ledger, the provenance metadata, and you will see it's today's date, 5 years ago. So it's kind of like 5th anniversary of this pack breaking on chain, but also on the eve of one of the biggest and one of the most EV positive drop ever, I would think, right? Hello everyone. Hello Miles. So we're gonna talk a little bit about tomorrow's drop. That's the main focus. That's why I want to send a word out so everyone has at least aware it's happening and how to make most of it, right? Okay, so tomorrow's drop is Prizm World Cup blockchain, right? So it's released through packs in 2 different waves. Tomorrow there is a drop, and next Wednesday there is a drop. And tomorrow's drop is first of the line. So as many of my friends here are from the physical hobby, so you know things has a first of the line FOTL. And next week is the hobby version, the regular version. So let me explain this. So it's blockchain only. It's blockchain standalone, right? You open the pack, it's digital. The cards kind of stand on its own, right? There's no physical backing. So we are talking about pure blockchain assets and experience. Tomorrow's drop is at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it happens either online, nft.paniniamerica.net, right? You go to the homepage, you should see this product. Or you can do it in app. I think app is more handy, at least for me. So you go to Panini Direct app, right? If you buy like a direct product, you should already have account. But you can click on the blockchain logo on the right down in the middle. You go to the blockchain interface, and if you do not have account, you need to sign up, and also you need to KYC, right? So you need to provide your identity, like passport usually suffices. It's very smooth process, right? But it's necessary before you can purchase anything. Another thing is you go to your profile and hopefully you change to some identifiable name so that all the data can stay with you throughout your blockchain existence, right? So so once you sign up, KYC, and load up your payment information, and then you are ready for the drop. You should be there like 3 minutes earlier, just to be there on time. So let me explain just the practical side of things, right? How to approach this drop so that you have a maximal opportunity to get those packs, right? So tomorrow there are around 14,000 packs, and everybody in the first 10 minutes can only buy up to 10 packs, right? So if everyone buy maximum, if there are more than 1,400 people around, it will instant sell out, right? But I think there will be double of that a crowd, or maybe more. So you need to be like prepared. So when it happens, I highly suggest hello Cage, I highly suggest you try to buy the max, because I think the pack is priced at 1/3 of its kind of EV neutral value, right? It's highly EV positive. So when the clock strikes 11 a.m., you just choose on the bottom left 10 packs, and then you click on purchase, right? There should be several steps, right? You choose which payment methods and swipe on the right to complete purchase. And what happens is that because many people are trying at once, right? The Panini system is basically everybody to keep kind of trying very hard multiple times, and then someone will get it, someone won't. I think by my rough calculation, probably 1 in 2 people will get it, right? On average, if everyone buys max. But I think some people will just buy 2 or 3 packs. Some already expressed such intention. So you just go through the payment process, and if you get a packs, that's great. If not, it says high volume error or something to that kind. And you just keep going, do not give up. You try as many times as you possibly can until the pack finishes, sold out, right? And then whether you get it or not, if you get 10 packs, you cannot buy any more. So basically you're capped out in the first 10 minutes, and it's expected to sold out really quickly so that you don't have like a uncapped access after 10 minutes, right? It's sold out. But then suppose you missed out or you want to buy more packs, I think the cheapest ever will be in the secondary market right after sold out, right? So you just go to the marketplace and you choose pack, and then choose the soccer logo and find the correct product, right? It should be 26 Prizm World Cup. And then you just go there, just buy those packs. I think up to 300, it should be an easy buy. And one more practical hint, right? The tips is that everybody will try to buy the floor. The floor will be right on the top because it's cheapest. And if you try that, everybody is trying that, I think success rate is low, and you keep filling, it will say the pack sold, and you come back and do it again on top, and I think the price will climbing up. So it's far better just try to buy like the 5th or 10th line down, which will guarantee better success rate. I think otherwise you just keep trying, the floor keep going up, you just miss out the low cost average. So that's the practical information for tomorrow's drop. I'll go into more detail on the content. Let me go down, see any comment here, because I'm not very good at responding to comment before. Just let me make sure I take care of everybody. So there are some comments. Just a second. So Cage said, I have tried to buy, unable to get any, so everybody prepare to not get. It's hard to get packs. Yeah, it's not guaranteed. And also, if you miss out pack, you can get an early wave. I think it still will be cheaper than what the price it will settle at. Is the hobby tomorrow or just FOTL? Yeah, just FOTL. The hobby will be next Wednesday. What else? Okay. What happened to my... Okay, are you doing any target price analysis? Okay. Yeah, I will say a few things for sure. Yeah, some basic discussion. Are you reaping? Hobby next week. Yeah. I think I will probably open a few with my wife. I think that will be the plan, because it's so EV positive and there are some big monster cards. There are some very big offers on the cards. You can go to the platform and check it out yourself. I'll go there as we go down the list of things I want to cover. Right, so that's the tomorrow's drop, the practical information. And if everybody just want to see the first 10 minutes, you should get that info. And now I go down a little bit of the detail of tomorrow's drop, right? Anybody have any question, just write in the comment. I'll get into it. So the price for tomorrow is 150 USD per pack and 14,000 packs. And price for next Wednesday's regular drop is 25 USD per pack for around 50,000 packs, right? So price ratio is 6-to-1. The pack ratio is around, so it's 14 versus 50. So it's like a little like less than 1-to-3, right? And so what's the difference between FOTL? Why there's like 125 surcharge, right? And I will explain that. So basically, there's one extra card. If you remove that card, everything will be the same as a hobby pack, right? So you could think of it as a hobby pack attached with a FOTL exclusive card. And that exclusive card comes in 4 different possibilities. Yeah, so someone asked why this is so hyped, and Messi already had first World Cup Prizm, right? Yeah, so that was like 4 years ago, and the product was very kind of in a early primordial stage. This product is much better configured, and also will be Yamal's first Prizm debut on chain. In physical, he already has a Prizm FIFA, but on chain that product doesn't exist. So this is the first Prizm debut for Yamal, among other things, right? A lot of other people, like a lot of young people, haven't been featured in 2022 World Cup release. Okay, so we go back to the discussion. So this extra card in the FOTL pack can be one of the 4 possibilities, right? One is Nebula 1-of-1, right? If you hit that, you hit the jackpot, right? It's the best version. And it also is the first time Nebula is 1-of-1. Before it was like a challenge. Now, yeah, someone asked another question, but let me finish what I want to say and then go back to that. You have 3 more possibilities for the FOTL. All 3 are first appearances for their design and concept, right? So you have 3 hosting country for this World Cup, and you have 3 different variants for like this extra card. Those are all parallel to the base card. So one is Old Glory out of 7. So it's basically US flag themed card, a bit like Star and Stripes, right? In the NFL. And you have Maple Leaf out of 9. It's basically for Canada, right? And on the back of the card, it actually has caption in French, because of the part of Canada speaking French. So that's very special. It doesn't happen often, and first time on chain. So that's pretty cool. And also the Maple Leaf colorway goes well with, for example, Spain. Yeah, and also the Canada in this kind of parallel is kind of special also. And the fourth one is basically Mexico's emblem, like an eagle. It's called a Aquila, out of 11. So Maradona is also in this product. It's not in 2022 version. And as you know, Maradona had great games and in the Mexico World Cup. So him in this parallel has actual meaning also. So yeah, there's a lot of things. So on average, you could hit out of 1 nebula, out of 7, 9, or 11, right? So on average, it's out of 7. So this actual card is extremely rare. So you guarantee you spend a 125 extra to guarantee to hit such a rare card. So that's basically why FOTL is more expensive, and tomorrow you're getting that product. Okay, let me go to the comment. So Crabs and Cards asking, what's the Messi 22 blockchain Prizm Black is worth? As some of you might already know, I shared there's a recent sale of Messi 22 blockchain Prizm Gold. It's sold for 86K in USD. And there's a standing offer of 105K for any copies, and nobody accepts that offer, but it's standing there. So it's for the gold is already 100K plus, and I think all the owners are basically big collectors, right? So it's not gonna be easy. So the black will be a kind of multiplier of that, probably over 500,000, I think. Yeah. But it has to be matching a buyer, right? Theoretical value probably is going to be over 500,000. Are these host country design going to be the same as a physical release? Yeah, probably so. I haven't looked into the physical, but probably they have the same blueprint. Okay, that's all the comments so far. Okay, so we have covered what's the actual card in the FOTL. Now we go back to the rest of the card. You have 4 cards in both this FOTL pack or the hobby pack next week. And from those, you could pull a base card and in various parallels or an insert card, right? Let's go to the base first. The base set is over $4.99. So it's players. So it's a large set, right? It's larger than other sports, usually like maybe almost 2x of the size. So here we have 48 countries, and I check through some countries, right? If you go to France, Spain, England, you get 21 players per that country in this base set. But for other, like Brazil, you get 11. For other country, you get could it be 10? So it's probably around 10, but sometimes it can be 21 for the very loaded roster. And there are also some legend like Zidane and Maradona and others. So not only the current World Cup team. And so that create a, so basically make hitting the best card a little tougher, right? Because you have a larger checklist. And Singapore Texan did a ranking, right? It's his ranking, and he's basically said 92 out of 499 are like nice players, and all other player could be like for their special fans or like a more filler type, right? So you have 1 in 5 chance to get something really nice. And another way to see it is to, hello, Columbia Cards, hello, ECW. So another way to get this is that you go to the insert set, because the insert set sometimes has like 50 players, or some insert set is like about a new talent, like around 20 player or something. So from those, you could get a clue which player are the best. If soccer is not your sport, you should be able to get a list, because the insert set is much smaller, tend to kind of feature very desirable players. And also another way is to basically go to Prizm Black set, and you can rank by the standing offer amount, right? And the top offers will be basically the list of desirability, right? Ranking from the most desirable to still of interest, right? So that's several ways you can access. But you could also focus just on teams, right? I think, for example, Spain, France, England, Brazil, Argentina, I think the entire team are collectible. And if you count those teams, it's already like one fifth. So there are sort of several ways to approach. So basically, let's say like 1 in 5, you get good players. And if you open FOTL, you guarantee at least out of 11 for the rarity, or can be nebula 1 of 1, right? So the rarity is protected, but there might be variation in terms of a player. So that certainly there's some risk, but I think if you open enough, right? Like I think average out, it will be cool. I did there's a Yamal 125K on the black and a 100K for the nebula. So it's very big offer. This never happens for the last drop, right? Last drop, I got Cristiano Ronaldo black for 7K. It's not a steal. It's listing there. After some competition, I got it. So the market has changed, and more people are like joined this ecosystem, right? Yeah, Singapore Texan said, go to my X account, Singapore Texan, and you want to see the list. I think it's one of his latest posts. There's a document there. It's very useful. Okay, I'm up to date on the comments. Right, so we go through basically what's there in the base set. Let's talk a little bit about the parallels, right? If you open physical product, there are can be crazy number, botany, a variety of parallels. But on chain, we only have on the rare levels. So on the rare level, I'm talking about things that are close to out of 10 or less, right? So let's count. We have a black 1 of 1. We have zebra out of 5. And we have Prizm Gold out of 10. So those are like the typical parallel already present in 22, like in the first release on chain. And then we have the FOTL exclusive, right? We have a Nebula 1 of 1, Old Glory out of 7, Maple Leaf out of 9, Aquila out of 11, right? So those are the 7 really rare, like around 10 or less, right? Like at least 11 or less. And then outside of those, you have 4 extra parallels from the pack. You have a cracked ice out of 25. So this is the first time cracked ice is actually in this out of 25 range. Cracked ice is very popular in the physical. And then there are 3 more parallels. I think red, blue, and silver, something like that. And the silver is the least rare card, and for that, it's only around 200 plus print run, so it's extremely rare. Someone said keep the drop quiet. Yeah, we hope to use the drop to get more people involved because it's really nice ecosystem, and the drop is the easiest way to get into this. Okay, so let me go back to the parallel discussion, right? We have the silver being the true base. Basically, the most common thing you will get is out of 200 something, right? I didn't write down exact number. So that by that count, it's already the most rare base among all products. So that's, if you count the entire print run of all those parallels, not many, right? We have 7 very rare ones and 4 less rare ones. Adding up together, it's less than 500 or so, right? So it's extremely rare release, right? I think it will age well. Let me keep responding to some comments. Do you pay with crypto or regular fiat on the blockchain system? So Kakit breaks. Right, you can do anything. You can pay by PayPal, you can pay by credit card, you can also pay by crypto. But if you want to pay by crypto, do not pay by crypto at the drop, right? You won't be able to make it. You have to load up your wallet using crypto. That may take, depending on how familiar you're with the system, probably take like 20 minutes. But using credit card or PayPal to load up, it's like immediate. Okay, there are no base cards in this release. Well, if you talk about base, right, the least like non-silver base, right? We don't have that. We have silver as the most common, and we think of it as the base, right? So the checklist, yes, we have a large checklist, rare base card. So the combined effect is like 50K pack, which is like little more, slightly like 1.5x of the typical like NFL drop. So it's not too crazy. Right, so that's the base card thing, right? Before we go to the insert, right, we just touch upon insert a little bit, but let me explain. There is a blockchain mechanism which can generate value, right? Which can make your pool a bit better rewarded. It's called a challenge, right? So if you hit those extremely rare cards, like out of 11 or less, those cards have their desirability already, right? From either it's well known like Prizm Gold or things like this, or they are like the first appearance, like those cards, right? We have a different language on the back, attached to the hosting countries. Hello, Mo. And then all we have, and also those two, like the Canada maple leaf, is part of kind of the flora plant theme, kind of I would call it subculture or subset, right? Sub-parallels. And we also have this Aquila being animal kind of skin, also part of this sub-parallel. So those will also be chased from a rainbow perspective. So, sorry. So there will be, so those are really well thought out, right? Rare, first appearance, language, foreign language in the back, like relevant to the host countries. And then they are also part of either flora like a sub collection or animal skin collection, right? So I think those will do well. Maybe some price discovery because that they are new, so people might be undervaluing it. Okay, so now, okay, I have a new comment there, but let me just finish this challenge discussion, right? Suppose you are opening the pack. The most common thing you will encounter will be the 4 most common parallels, right? I just said cracked ice, red and blue, and silver. So those are like slightly less desirable in general. It probably sell quite cheap, right? For star player, probably not crazy if that's just the design. But actually we have a mechanism. It's called a challenge. So challenge will produce 4 more parallels, like 4 more different like designs. How it will play out, right? Basically, it will use those 4 most common parallels. The easiest way to explain at first is that if, for example, if you complete the entire silver set, right, the base set basically, I think it costs around maybe 1,000 or something. And when challenge comes out, I would, like, from the past experience, it's probably gonna be like 2 players per week. For example, in the week 1, let's say it's Yamal, right? And it will say Yamal challenge, and it will require 10 cards from the base silver. And if you collect those 10 cards, you will get a Yamal card at the end of the challenge. So what this means is that those 10 cards, although they could be of like mid players, but because you will get in the Yamal, so the price of those will go really high, right? Could be, each of them could be like, but this is because it's not that rare, right? It's 200 something, but could be like 50 or something. If it's 25, it could go into thousands, right? So it's like a mechanism which elevates the value of those cards, right? So, but if you already complete the entire silver set, so whichever they chose the 10 cards out of for rewarding a specific player in that week, you already have that 10 cards. So you're completing this silver set, you will get a new set of new parallels, right? So there's this extra kind of airdrop, if you will. So that's kind of adds the value to the lesser parallels and also provides a floor, right? Because there will be people right after the release will try to complete this set. And so they will make the floor of a random player from $1 probably into $2 or $3, right? That's a boost. And so every card is either extremely rare and valuable, or it will have challenge utilities. Just bear with me. Let me just add one thing, a little bit technical, but I think when the challenge comes out, you will understand. It will be cleanly explained. So basically, the highest level of challenge is called a rainbow challenge, right? So there are several levels. In order to get the best card in the 4-tier challenge, you have to complete the challenge below it, right? So if you complete the cracked ice out of 25 cards, you will not get the challenge cards. You have to complete all the other 3 sets, the red, the blue, and the silver. But those sets are much easier to complete. I think the cracked ice set is very difficult. Yeah, if you want to do this, I suggest you work on that set immediately after the release. When people are still trying to recover the pack cost, they just list a bunch of cards, and when the supply are all out, I think the price is probably the lowest, right? So that's the challenge. So that's half of the product. And the other half is a bunch of really nice insert, right? So if you're already part of the blockchain drop, I would characterize the other insert collection as best of. So it's basically already a product on its own, right? It has some very nice inserts. Manga, right? The latest version. So it's really nice design. And also we have Landmark, National Landmark. It basically is the soccer version of Downtown, right? And because they are country-based, there are very nice background. We have Alter Ego. And in that set, we have horizontal and vertical. So it's a little strange, right? But it's a very popular set. I really like it. We have a color blast. We have a dual color blast. And we also have a color wheel. I think we have a bunch of others. We don't have Kaboom. I think what else? We also have some inserts from the typical World Cup insert from 2022. So like Connection, National Pride, things like that, right? And we also have a Prizm Mania. So there's several very nice inserts. So even if you don't have a Prizm Gold or 1 of 1, you could hit like really nice players, Landmark or something, and it could well over the pack cost, right? So it's so that's basically the breaking down of the content in the product. Let me go to the comments real quick. Yeah, so let's see. So I'm new to the soccer collectibles. Secondary single sales for other leagues drop recently seem to soften except a few key athletes. Is there a demand for the single? Yeah, I think if you go to you basically can access the checklist, right? One way to do it is to go to your collection, go to the soccer, and then you turn off my collection. Because you haven't collected any cards, you turn that off, you will see all the folders. You go to 2026 and you find this. And in there you will see all the bounties. You will see many like mid 4-figure and high 5-figures bounty. This never happened in previous drop, so it's a very loaded drop. And I will also cover the EV positiveness in a second. The softening of the single price from other products in the recent days is probably due to people want some liquidity. They want to raise some fund to get the pack of this product, right? Because if pack can do 2-3x, and even if you sell like 80%, you still get more, right? So people like try to do this kind of math. Yeah, so Luca said excited to playing this, and packs will be gone in seconds. That's right. What exclusive parallels in FOTL? I said it earlier in the video. So basically, Nebula 1 of 1 and the 3 hosting country themed parallels. Yeah, I saw a lot of friends popped in and out. Thank you for coming. I will save the recording so you can just go there afterwards if you want. I know it's still kind of working time for the West Coast. Right, so let's go back to the discussion. Let's talk a little bit about the EV positiveness, right? If you go to my X account, I have several recent threads, posts, and you can check out some of the info. I think one way to think about EV positiveness is to use the minimal math to deduce the maximal value, right? You can get from those quick calculations. One way is doing this, right? So what I did is I think of Prizm Gold as 1, Zebra as 0.5, and the various hosting country parallels at like a quarter relative to the Prizm Gold, right? Those are just very conservative or maybe spot on like guess estimate. And you have like the black and the Nebula, hello Mount Rushmore. You just have black and Nebula. Those typically around from 6 to 7x of the Prizm Gold, right? You add up this number, it's around like 35 or something. And so that basically, I'm just looking at the 7 rarest parallels, right? We ignore all the others, which are also like quite sizable because we have a larger market cap, although they are not rare, but they are larger in quantity. So we basically look at the rarest parallels. It's like around 35x of the Prizm Gold for each player, right? Just roughly. Sorry. And then we just look at the top 5 player, right? Yamal, Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Haaland. And you just guess around what's their market value for the Prizm Gold. Because recently we have Messi sold for 86K for the S1 for the last 4 years ago for the Prizm Gold, and the standing offer 105. And we have Ronaldo sold for 40K, but that was like way earlier. And we have Yamal Select Rookie on Chain sold for 50K. So those numbers can have a bearing on the recent product, right? So I think it's fair to say if you add those 5 players together, I think their totality of Prizm Gold should be over 100K, right? Easily. So if you multiply 35 to that, and then you compare the total pack cost, it's already over the total pack cost. But then we have like almost like 500 other players and many other parallels, many other inserts, right? So I think it's all the calculation add up to around 3x of the pack cost. So it's a very EV positive drop on average, right? So we go over those EV positiveness and the rough calculation, and we talk about challenges, and also like let's talk about the timing, because this time this product is dropped right at the World Cup, right? So we haven't go through the group stage yet, right? We have, after the group stage is still like almost like the World Cup just started like last tournament. So it's fully susceptible to the catalyst of the big moments, right, in the World Cup. For example, in the for the goalkeeper, like Josima, right? And if he has that kind of virality in social media, that could reflect it on the price as well. So it's a lot of price action could be triggered by the on-court performances. And also this is the only licensed official World Cup release, right? Sports card on chain. So it's the go-to release, right? If you want to really collect the World Cup collectibles, official one. And what else I want to talk about? Let me go over my list. I think I pretty much covered the topic number 2, explain the drop, explain what's in the product, and some way to think about it, and the practical information. Just keep pressing buttons, try to get through those purchase flow. Yeah, so that's about it. So now I want give me like maybe 10 minutes to talk a little bit about the blockchain, right? As a category, as an asset, why we care and why it's nice to know. And so no new comments, so I can keep talking. And then I will, the next up, we'll talk about how to next, what to do next once you get packs, right? And then, and also I will answer some questions. Yeah, I think that's more or less, right? We keep it like not too long. Also, I think right before I come on, there's a new update which basically introduces spend promo, right? So if you spend money buying packs at a primary drop or at a secondary market, or you buy singles, if you the amount you spend will be ranked among the collector, right? And the top ones will get rewarded by the white sparkle pack and other things. So there will be some motivated reward for those who want to engage into this drop. Okay, so yeah, so someone says, appreciate all the information you share with the community. Yeah, anytime. So are we talking about blockchain as a ledger for the physical card or just purely digital cards? Very good question. At the very beginning, I already said it's a standalone blockchain card. It's a digital card without a physical backup. So far, there hasn't been any official primary release where you have blockchain asset, where behind blockchain asset there is a physical, right, to give the value proposition. So far, there hasn't been any among the big card manufacturers. Upper Deck does the e-pack for the hockey, right? But the e-card is not a blockchain card. It's just a digital. Okay, we have a cord here. So if you want to hop on, extremely welcome, right? Just, I will not put you in the tough spot. Okay. Tarantino asks, how much do you think those packs will resell for? I already did a calculation. Basically, if things are exactly as I said, the EV neutral price would be 3x, so it's 450. But we also have a large number of packs, so it's like around 14,000 for FOTL. A lot of new people coming in, and a lot of people will be content with the 2x, right? They will exit. And so it will probably take some time to get 3x, but I think it will be immediate upside for sure. What about the blockchain cards? They make Logo Man blockchain, for example. Right, so you talk about the Dutch auction one, right? So those are one-of-one cards, and those they give Dutch auction. It's not a pack pulled. You have to win the competitive Dutch auction, and then you get a blockchain, and then you get a physical, right? So you are correct. I said no big manufacturer does this, but it indeed doing it for Dutch auction, but that was not something that is still active right now, right? That's a way to get a physical collector involved. Physical cards that are stamped with PaniniBlockchain. Yeah, those are very popular right now. Actually, the value also increase over time. What about 10-pack limit for the FOTL drop? Right, so every user has 10-pack in the first 10 minutes. I don't expect it will go over 10 minutes, right? It was sold out. So basically, if you want, I would suggest you just choose 10 packs and keep trying to buy. I think each drop is a math problem, right? Panini want to know who are the Prizm Gold. I think in any product they release, there will be invariant part of the product. Like Prizm Gold always out of 10, black always 1 of 1, so on and so forth. But the base card number will be a variable. They can change from product to product, right? So they calculate or they analyze what would be a potential number of set completing people, and they just went a little lower, so make the card a little more valuable, right? So the base set is actually the most rare among all the releases on chain so far, right? So once you fix that number, you basically decided what the total number of cards in the product will be. And typically for the Prizm, it will be 4 cards in a pack, right? So from that, you deduce how many packs will be. And then from the earlier experience, how many people are buying the pack. I think around 2,000 people are buying. For the popular pack, it could be more, right? If we do more awareness campaign like this, probably there will be more people coming in. So I expect to be around 2x of the max number of people can buy the product if everybody choose 10. So it's around maybe 2,800 or so, just roughly from my gut feeling. So another variable is basically this group of pack buying people, right? And from those numbers, you can calculate what would be the ideal allocation number, like the max number of packs you can get in the first time slot, 10 minutes. So this is a math problem. If you do this correctly, you will ensure most people get a pack. It will sell out, but also, so basically you want people to get a pack, but also you do not want it will stay there forever, right? So I think selling out quick is nice, like mechanism for the secondary market to be strong. There's more question here. Hello, what are we doing here? Yeah, I think that's one of my haters. Welcome. What card are you going to be chasing in the soccer drop? Yeah, I think for me, I tend to focus on player-based and special numbers, right? And also sometimes when you have the first appearance or the first ever, I like them. For example, Nebula 1 of 1 is the first appearance, right, for soccer. Before it was part of a challenge, so it can be up to the number who complete the challenge. For example, Messi last year was out of 8. This year it will be 1 of 1. Hello, Milano, nice to see you here. Cool, let's go back to the discussion, right? Right, so I already covered the drop. So if you missed that, you can just go to the recording of this session. Yeah, I know you are crypto fun. Nice to see you here. Right, so let's talk a little bit about what PaniniBlockchain is about, right? So let's give, not go into too much detail. So basically we brand it as a PaniniBlockchain, right? So we emphasize the Panini brand, which is around 65 years old, really well established, and a dominating brand in the hobby for the last 1.5 decades, right? And hello, Mark. So the blockchain we put there because we want to emphasize it's a digital card, digital asset, right? Digital art, but also it's backed up by the blockchain technology. So how to think about blockchain technology, right? I think one way to think about it is this. So it's basically kind of like a vault collecting, right? You have a vault, you have cards stored in there, right? And you have basically a user interface of digital nature, and you can buy and sell, transfer, collect, open packs, and so on, right? It's digital experience. But then you say, okay, how about, can we withdraw the thing, get a physical card? No, you cannot, but you can withdraw to your digital wallet when the Panini sports card on the blockchain bridge to the Ethereum chain. I think this is already in the work, right? It will happen in the near future. So in the near future, you will be able to withdraw the card into your cold storage wallet. That's kind of think of as a withdrawal from the vault, right? And then you say, okay, if you, let's say in the worst case scenario, what if the vault goes down or there's some kind of accident happens, right? One way to do this on the blockchain is basically you have a multiple vaults everywhere, spread it throughout the blockchain to store your provenance data, like who owns the card, who sold the card to whom, what's the status of every card right now. So this data is constantly validated and stored in each of the vaults. And that vault is actually kind of a node on the blockchain, right? So you can think of it as like removing the vault at third-party risk, but kind of decentralize them into a bunch of nodes. Even if some nodes are like become ineffective, there are other nodes, and the majority of them will validate your transaction and keep everything well documented, right? So that's just the idea, right? I think from experience wise, it's very much like vault collecting. I'm international. I was in the US, right? I'm very happy for the New York Knicks winning the championship because I was there for 7 years. So I collect kind of in my prime, spend a lot of time, have physical mail days. But I'm now in Berlin and I have like a bunch of vaults. I do buy, sell, and trade right through the vaults, right? With a various degree of friction and coordination, right? So my experience is very digital oriented, so easy for me to get on this kind of environment. So that's easy for me, but I think it doesn't have to replace the physical, right? I have a little bit both. I talked to a friend recently. I think one way to understand is like this, right? You do your physical thing as usual, but it would be good to understand the whole ecosystem in a setting where there's no extra cost at every step, and also there's no extra friction. So you experience this very idealized hobby captured on chain, and this will guide you a little bit, right? Makes you appreciate the physical hobby a little bit more, right? Because I think the chase of a grail card, going through the hoops, right? All the difficulties will add emotional attachment and the grailness to the card. So this part is also important. I think knowing both is kind of crystallize what physical collecting is about, and you can improve your experience and your skill, right? And on the blockchain side, I think the data doesn't lie. Over the last few years, the price and desirability and user base keep growing, right? So you if you allocate a little bit, right, you don't need to be all or nothing. You allocate a bit. I think that part of your kind of allocation or portfolio will age nicely, like grow nicely. So I think it will offset some of the volatility or some like rookie busted in your physical. I think it will help you a little bit there. So I have a new comment here. It says, do you have some news about new licenses on Panini, golf, women's soccer? Yeah, recently there's a signing of the big three basketball. Yeah, they did some English league, which is not the Premier League, but some other league. I think there will be some collaborations with various brands. I think we need to think how many brands are there, right, in our life, and how many of them have large fan base, right? If you think about Pokemon card being the biggest brand, right, in terms of the non-sport category, TCG, that's a big like user base, well participated. I think Pokemon as a brand is not even top 20 in terms of the biggest various IP. So there's a bunch of opportunity out there, right? It's very hard to replace the Pokemon ecosystem and collecting, but the addressable market of different IP could be huge too. So there has to be some way to kind of get people involved, to somehow get people interested in this IP, to collectible in this IP, right? There's this non-trivial step, but it's very natural step. So another question is, do you think we will see people carrying their NFT on the screen device and bring them to showcase? You think NFT will match physical in terms of hype, right? That's a very good question. Right, so I basically said earlier that the withdrawal in the NFT setting, if you compare to the vault, will be to withdraw from Ethereum chain to your personal wallet, right? MetaMask, cold storage, Ledger, things like that. But there's another like display, right? Display and sharing and in real life aspect to it, right? If some people can come up with kind of physicalization of blockchain cards, I think that would be a very popular product. I think recently there have been some like e-ink device which can I think the solution will be to have e-ink device with two-sided screen of the size exactly the physical card. I think that will help bridge the gap, right? In terms of the value, it will match the physical or not, right? In terms of hype. Yeah, that's always my my kind of thesis, right? So I view blockchain card same as physical card in the sense that both come from the same blueprint, same manufacturer, and have the same configuration element to it, right? We have rarity, we have this specific release reserved for the sports at this time, right? Everything is well established. There's pedigree. There's configuration of the product. You cannot do crazy stuff. It's well understood, well anticipated by the hobbyist, right? They know from this year to next year there will be a gradual adaptation. There will be no crazy stuff going on. So that's like a tradition, and I would think blockchain card and physical card are like each of the card is like one opportunity or one right to print that card in that format, right? On paper or on blockchain, through this kind of image hosting decentralized throughout the blockchain, so that it will be there forever. So I think it basically, obviously, physical collectors are like very attached to their physical card, and it will be a big kind of inertia or hurdle to kind of appreciate blockchain, right? That process might not be super straightforward, but if you open your mind and think about what you gain without having to insist on the paper, you'll gain a lot, right? The frictionlessness, the complete ownership, complete the provenance, instant ownership, and those. So I think both have like different understanding, different user base growth, and so on. So right now, obviously, it's not exactly one-to-one, right? We have physical Prizm Gold of Wemby rookie probably close to 1 million, but on chain we have like 100,000. It's still respectable, but it's like a fraction, right? But I think as time goes on, the gap will narrow because fundamentally both are the same, right? In my opinion, and the blockchain setting has solved a lot of problem in the physical setting. There's no authentication, no grading needed, no shipping, no insurance storage needed. You can outreach to everybody. Tomorrow's drop, everybody can access it to it, right? If it's physical drop, I think distributors and big breaker will get allocated more, right? So it's different, more like, and also from a past breaking perspective, it's very kind of ROI is much better. So yeah, I think it's definitely has a chance, right? I think one of my I spend a lot of energy try to basically try to close this gap. It's not for my own sake, because I think my physical collecting is fine as it is, right? I can just do that. But I think this establishment of this ecosystem on the blockchain side will help people, will help bridge the people from the crypto and other like collectible niche, like skin in the gaming, collectibles, and like tokenization crowd, right? I think it will be a nice bridge. And I actually, for example, in collecting Yamal, I collect the blockchain first, understood what's the best, and which really helped me to get the best card in the physical, right? I think blockchain doesn't have the kaboom, which kind of make me not getting the kaboom in the physical, right? Because I kind of sort of didn't realize how I should go really hard at it. So it's, yeah, I think it helped me, and also potentially can bring a lot of people from elsewhere to the physical hobby, right? So both can help each other. So I'm very open to helping the blockchain side. I show my spotlight from my tablet at a car show. The Bills Mafia collector told this. Try to figure out attachment for it in my Zion card. The Zion case. Yeah. I think there has to be some development in regarding how to showcase, right? In the show or in the front gathering. Is this first World Cup FOTL? Yeah, I think FOTL is a setup that only exists in the recent 2 years, right? So the last 4 years, there wasn't any FOTL. Panini did something nice long ago, give physical cards as gifts for completing FT challenges. I wish they push those initiatives again, will help bridge the gap, maybe. Right, so if you do, I describe what challenge is, right? You have a timed slot where you have to complete a task of collecting a set of 10 specified cards, and you get awarded a extra card, right? So this extra card, if you buy it or if you pull from the pack, you could cost way more, but those 10 cards probably doesn't cost too much, right? You get a nice card. So this way is an innovative blockchain exclusive format, right? And this, if this reward is a physical card, right? So that's basically the suggestion here. And Panini did this in the past, but only like for one set, right? If this is done more, probably, yeah, I think it's good to help to, like, for example, if I can get something that would not otherwise be obtainable in physical only through this blockchain, I think it's a good way for people to get into it. Because the way to complete a task, then get rewarded, right? This process, if it's in the physical, it's very tedious, right? Imagine collecting 40 cards to complete a challenge. On the blockchain, it takes like half an hour. In the physical, probably take you like 3 weeks. So it's very difficult to do that. Okay. Physical cards value derive mostly from its physical grade and rarity, right? If all digital cards are flawless, how does it generate value and ROI, right? It's a very good point. I think when you pull a card from new products, right, or you buy raw card on the marketplace, and you try to like use your experience or like very discerning eyes, try to get a nice great card at a raw card price, right? And then you can basically generate some value through this, right? That's definitely not gonna be possible on the blockchain, right? But that's not why physical cards holds the value, not because it adds the value by having a nice grade, right? But grading is not end all be all, because grading would be a very important metric differentiator for the vintage card, right? Because you only have one card per player per year in the vintage era. In the modern era, you have different rarity, which already carries a lot of like demand and the intrinsic value, right? But the high grade definitely adds to it, right? So that part kind of mixed up. It's an interaction of true rarity by print run and popularity by the grade, right? On chain, it doesn't have this, which is you want to argue it as you're missing out arbitrage opportunity. But on the flip side of it is like everything is so frictionless, you could get things at spot, right? When something happens, like a big news, big moment, you could get the card and immediately got the card and you can do something with it, right? For example, if Ohtani like hitting 3 home runs, if you get a card already after the first home run, you probably can get arbitrage at the 3rd home run, right? So this kind of thing doesn't exist in the physical hobby because in most places, if you want to sell, you have to coin the card, right? You have to have card in hands. And also, let's be honest, if something breaks out, right? And you go to eBay and buy being like everything, the seller will like wiggle out, right? Basically, you will receive nothing in the mail. And if you're a seller selling a hot rookie during a breakout performance, and there will be certain buyer, it's not like honest, right? They will just say not described and return the card if the player like return its normal self, right? Bust it out, right? So those type of unpleasant experience won't exist because payment and transfer is part of the transaction. It's like just one step. So that kind of remove that, right? There's definitely differences and trade-offs, right? So yeah, it generates value the same way as physical card. Yeah, I think I agree. Actually, maybe there are no FOTL, I can't remember. Yeah, I think the first World Cup, there's no FOTL. Michael, basically he said that there's this grading aspect, right? He said, I like that you said in the future you will be able to store out of vault in your wallet, right? I think, yeah, that's very important because it kind of makes the card independent of the issuer and independent of the network, right? It will be into Ethereum, which is the largest network with staking, with the participant, with the volume. Exactly, some of the physical gifts exclusive, only obtainable from Panini will be cool. Yeah. Hello, hi. Yeah, we have more friends coming in, but I address all the comments. So I'm actually doing a good job this time. Just try to address comments as I go. Okay, so basically, so I did a little bit of discussing why blockchain. I think in answer the question, I also touched a little bit on the upside, the upshots, and of the blockchain, right? And it complements the physical hobby experiences and very natural for international collectors. Even using vaults, the experience are the same, right? Let me just explain 2 different actual phenomena. One is the provenance, right? So basically, right now there are a lot of private sales happening because the public auction sometimes can get into bidding war and a nice price, but sometimes it could be too much going on or multiple copies. Private sale sometimes can protect your downside, right? If you explain the selling point of your card, maybe private sale is also a nice way. But when you do private sales, there might be middlemen or brokers or guys does not have the card, right? Or just could be a scammer, right? Those kind of thing. So there's a lot of things to navigate through, but actually the provenance data, if you do digital assets, the blockchain data is like universally accessed by everybody, so you know who owns what, and it's basically a indisputable proof you own the card, right? You are the rightful owner and you are talking to the owner in this discussion and so on. And also sometimes because the lineage, if you in the general, like if you collect very high-end stuff like vintage, antique painting and stuff, right? The coin, a very high-end one. Sometimes the provenance, which means the passage from one owner to the next, documented through exchange or through auctions, and those type of things are very important for establishing legitimacy, the value and prestige, right? So those type of things are available on chain. So it's complete provenance. And in the physical, I think that we'll see more and more like people argue, okay, this card actually from this person, and sometimes add the prestige, but sometimes prove it's authentic and have a nice backstory, right? Adds lore to the card. So this on chain, this has this upside. Another upside is the co-owner composition. What I mean is that, for example, I own a Prizm Gold, right? I want to know who also owns the same card, because if they are like very short-term thinking and very weak-hand, very second-guessing person, and not collector, very opportunistic, right? So if you own the card shared by those people, it's less secure, right? The value have some downside risk. But if you are owning together with a bunch of hardcore collectors who are not in a rush or not in a necessity to sell something, right? And will be smart about it, and then the card has almost zero downside, right? To establish the co-owner data for the physical hobby, you have to use social media, use connection, right? Use your research. But this data is completely on-chain for the digital card, and it's very easily accessible. So basically, for example, 2022 Messi, like from last World Cup release, all the 10 owners are very much having large collections, understood the digital pretty well, the thesis, the ethos, and so it's not gonna like just dump the card, right? Or have difficulty, have to sell the card to do something else. So the card is very secure, and the next sale is gonna be a big sale. So this kind of thing is nice to have, right? If you're collecting high-end, this is very important data. It's almost like the coffin card concept I mentioned, because coffin card basically remove all the provenance, like a co-owner risk, right? Infinite demand, zero supply. So it's, yeah. So this is two things. One is provenance, the other is the co-owner composition. You have completely on-chain. Actually, from the owner of the card, of the same card you own, you can go to his profile, see what collection he has, what the price he pays, how long he has been collecting, and so on. So you have a very good, you can reconstruct the collector profile, right? So it's, you have a lot of information there. So those are, I think, has to be a like upside for the blockchain. So far, no new comments. Yeah, we have a little more like familiar names joining us. Will, and nice to have you guys. Cool. Feel free to pop a comments or questions. Right, so I talk about what's the PaniniBlockchain. Today is actually the 5th anniversary of the first digital pack release. It's 2020 Prizm Red debut. $10 pack, 3 cards per pack. And the last 5 pack sale are like 10,000. So you have a 100,000, like 1,000x for those packs somehow. So I have some like notes. I want to hit those points. So basically I covered most of them. Yeah, we have Messi breaking out a little bit, right? Like first time he did a like hat trick, and also although Mbappe kind of surpassed his career total in the World Cup career goal, but he kind of surpassed him back and actually tied with all-time goal, right? So this kind of high-level performance will make people very excited and chase his card and so on. And the new guys break out, like it will also kind of reflect it on chain in the price action, right? Real time. So those are very nice things. And this release happened exactly at the World Cup, right? We never had this last time. Last time we had it when the World Cup is finished, if I remember correctly. Okay, now we go a little bit back to this release, right? How do you tackle this release? What's the best way? And then we will probably wrap it up. That's the last part of today's session. I already go through like an hour and 20 minutes. If there are some people who want to join me, feel free to raise a hand also, or just drop a comment or question. I'll save this video. Yeah, so basically tomorrow go through, in the early part of the video I said how to get a pack. Once you get a pack, I think there are multiple ways you can do it, right? You can flip the pack and be gone. But I think the best way is to at least open a couple of packs, because it's the most EV positive drop ever. There's there's highest chance you can hit something very significant, right? Multiple 6-figure and many 5-figure offers for a pack which is 150, right, at primary market. So it's very nice ROI, and it's not guaranteed, right? There's still like 1 in 5 to hit some player in the large checklist that is a collectible, but there are also many inserts of better hit rates, and there's one card that's guaranteed to have a rare like print run, like either 1 nebula out of 7, out of 9, out of 11, right? So it's very rare, and you guarantee the rarity, but you do not guarantee the player to be notable. But a very good chance, 1 in 5. And it could be like a Emal Nebula 1 of 1, right? That's probably one of the product hits. Just because of distribution, we have 14 FOTL packs, we have 50 hobby pack next Wednesday. So the chance to hit a nice thing in the FOTL pack will be 14 out of 64, right? That's basically math. You have less pack, you have less chance to hit regular stuff, but you have a FOTL exclusive guarantee. Right, so you could open, suppose you have 10 packs, I would suggest at the pack price will keep climbing to a certain degree. So first few hours is definitely not the maximal pack price, right? You try to hold a little longer, even if you are like more short term and do not understand how it works. But if packs are like selling so crazy, there should be a reason for it, right? Reason is the things inside are very chased and collectible. So you do not want to miss out this good chance to know this a little bit better. Not just get an easy flip, right? You can flip anything anywhere, but this is a golden opportunity to learn this ecosystem, right? To get on chain, to see like various upside of this. And also at the beginning, everybody opening packs, a lot of supply all out, and people want to recoup and keep opening packs, right? And also when big sale happens, everybody want to trade their luck. So it's very friendly to the buyer of the singles, right? So suppose you flip some pack, use the like multiplied ammo to tackle on the singles, and as time goes on, the single will price discover to the true value, right? So you will see a price appreciation, right? This basically is Singapore Texans take on the space last night, right? We discussed this on X last night for my time for like 3 hours. There's a lot of information. You can go there to listen. I ping that discussion on my X account, Spinotron on X. So that's one way. Another way is just to keep some packs, open some packs, try to see your luck, and also try to collect like the I would suggest collect some set, like the silver set. You will get airdropped for the extra set, or you can collect like you can. There are so many nice players. Some might not be like widely known, right? You can collect those. There will be debut, there will be rookies. And Nebula 1 is the first appearance because before it was out of a number, which is not one. And what else? I think there'll be some new people participate and open the packs, right? And some of them will be friendly in terms of asking, and they really want to sell quickly. And I think there will be a lot of good chances. And I think one way is just, my way is always try to get the best players, the most like interesting or rarest card within your budget or means, right? I think it has a lot of potential, and even if you don't believe this direction or category or somewhat like still very much attached to physical, it doesn't hurt to put a little bit on the top card, right? Last year, I think 2 years ago, you could buy a Messi Prizm Gold for around 4,000. Now it's 105,000, right? There's nice growth. Community size has grown like 4 to 5x over the last year and a half, right? So it's very natural. I think if you if you think of it as NFT, right? Same as a profile picture NFT, like Bored Ape, CryptoPunk, and some of others digital collectibles, they experience like sharp running up in 2021 and goes down, right? Some has covered, some has some floor level where they meet some genuine demand. Some are still surviving, right? Still around. Some already crashed and burned, wrecked, scammed out. So I think you should understand. Yeah, there's maybe another session I can talk a little bit about this part of history, because I understand what's going on through various ways. But the point is, sometimes when something is hyped, new and fresh, right? People are very excited. They are all getting sucked in for various reasons, and they grow up really fast and too fast. And there's like basically a way for people to get out, there's motivation or a drive, right, for people to get out, or very hard to sustain, right? So the price crash. The most important reason is there's no fundamentals, right? Those are like hyped new thing. It couldn't last over time. It's not proven. There's no proven IP. There's no physical, well-established category, and there's no hardcore collector base, which has been consistent, right? So those type of thing all present in the PaniniBlockchain ecosystem communities. So if you look at the chart of PaniniBlockchain, it's not a crash chart. It's like a steady growth climbing chart. If you look at other, it's more likely a crashing chart, right? So do not confuse with something with IP, with fundamentals, very close physical analog. A lot of community keep growing, right? This, I think, you shouldn't let misconception of other similar thing, but actually very different, to stop you from being open-minded to give a try tomorrow, right? I spent a lot of time doing this, just try to have some people try to give this a try, and I think it will be rewarding in various ways. Let's see, there are a bunch more comments. Okay, I think I covered them more or less. Just let me go through the comments. So Milano said, if they get sold out, I can't buy it at 150. What price maximum you suggest to buy from secondary? I think it's easy buy up to 300. And after that, yeah, depending on how strong conviction you have, I think it's 3x mispriced, right? So its true value should be 450, but pack can be priced a little higher, right? Because in the hobby, there's no like EV plus thing. Yeah, it's very rare. EDL, hello. Feel free to hop on. I basically did my thing. We can open to discussion. Forgive my 90s card collector says, forgive my naivety. Can you get a printed copy of them? Oh, it's strictly blockchain, right? It's strictly blockchain. This is not a the value proposition is its configuration, right? Its rarity, it's what it represents, and what the blockchain technology help to facilitate, right? It has its own value proposition. It's not value. It's desired not because it has a physical to back it up. Can you withdraw money right away? Yeah. For example, if you buy and sell something or flip some packs, you have balance. You can withdraw the money request. I think it takes tomorrow. This is a public holiday, right? Juneteenth. The bank is closed, so maybe you can get the money on Monday. But usually it's very quick. Hello, Martin. I have okay. Hello, David. Is there a checklist? Yeah. Hello, Michael. Michael is asking, is there a checklist? It's basically the same as physical, right? You go to the Panini Direct app, blockchain, you go to your My Collection, you go to soccer category, you turn off collected because it's not released yet, right? You see the folder in 2026, Prizm, and you go in there, everything is there, right? The visual checklist, you can place offers. It's basically bounty, right? Because it's something you put it out there, you are willing to pay, and you can put an alarm next to the card. So when it's listed, you get notified immediately. So you can have a chance to buy before everyone else. I'm sports trading. I'm curious what you think about relationship between group ownership of elite parallels and subsequent one-of-one pricing. If the gold Prizm group is the black Prizm only strong if it's also in that group. Very interesting. Okay. So basically, I mentioned there's this co-owner group, right? Where you know who owns what, what's your, basically, if you think of the print run as a share of this IP, right, this parallel, who are the shareholders? And if they are all strong hands, you have your downside protected, right? A next sale has to be better than the previous sale, so you have a nice upside. And the question is, suppose the owner group guys, maybe they don't own the one-of-one. One-of-one might be someone new. What's the relationship? Or someone who is not strong hand, what's the relationship between this, right? So it's all depending on the intent and how good of a salesman, right? The one-of-one owner is, right? He could paper-hand it, or he could be very smart about it, right? Because it's one-on-one, I think he's in a very good position because the buyer cannot find an alternative, right? I think the ratio still exists, right? There should be expected ratio between those two. I think I still tend to think in terms of the floor, right? If you know the Prizm Gold price, the one-of-one should be kind of calculate from Prizm Gold times the ratio, times 7 or something. That should be the floor of a fair price, but not the ceiling, because in physical we have seen one-of-one has extreme premium sometimes, right? If multiple people really want it. Yeah, so So that I already answered. Is the black Prizm inherently strong because the group is the only end game? That group is only end game as a holder. Yeah, I mean, if this ecosystem keep growing, I mean, obviously, the holder has the first mover advantage, right? They are here a little bit early, but there are like new people coming, want to own the same thing. So the one-of-one basically can meet its true demand as well as those tens, right? I think the one-of-one doesn't really only has to be like owner of the 10. We have seen like a lot of new people coming with very strong, kind of aggressive, but also very surgical approach to chase those cards, right? So I think it's not confining in any way, right? Yeah. So I think everything it's neat in here. It's automatic transfer after you sell. Yeah, it's very easy to navigate. How difficult it's going to be to buy those packs? I addressed them earlier in the session. Basically, it's gonna be demand. So you have to be like a few minutes earlier on the page, has everything set up, KYC, wallet loaded, or payment information put in, and keep jamming those purchase buttons for like 20, 30 times if necessary to try to secure packs. And if you miss out, go to the secondary market. If everything is under 300, I would suggest you can buy some. And let this be your chance to get into this ecosystem, right? Do not treat it as a just simple flip, because I think you will miss out the forest just to try to be like exploiting a arbitrage. There are parallels in FOTL that are not in the regular hobby, right? There are also addressing earlier in the chat. There are 4 different parallels. The least rare one is already out of 11, so it's extremely rare, and there's innovation involved. It's so hard to type what I mean in those questions with the small character limit. Put in on one page, lots of words. You should type out this whole live, put it on one page. Yeah, sometimes you can put like caption on, right? Yeah, I will see. I think captions these days are auto-generated. Let's go, Spino, NBA player come to restaurant today. I think you must from the New York, right? Cool. I think, yeah, that's more or less, right? Do we have any questions? So in this discussion, I covered today's 5th anniversary of first blockchain pack ever, and tomorrow there's this Prizm World Cup FOTL blockchain drop. You should be part of it, and I explain what's in the pack, the practical information, how to secure the pack, right, to maximize your chance, why it's EV positive, what's in there, right, nice parallels, nice inserts. The least 4 rarest parallel can give you airdrops, right? So the floor of those will be high. So everything basically either rare or in demand. So it's pretty cool. And then we talk about a little bit of what is blockchain, why it's nice to be part of it, and then how to tackle the drop, right? And there's a spending promo already on, which will help more participation, and this drop is timely as the beginning of the World Cup tournament, right? So there will be encore performances will catalyst for the price action sometimes, right? And also there's a bunch of maybe lastly I just want to mention there's a bunch of things you can do on chain on the platform. First of all, there's a data dive section. You can see what is the high sale cards recently, what's the volume every day, what's cards are selling, what's the unique buyer this year. I think around 6.5 thousand. And also on the individual card page, there are a bunch of other things. Like, for example, for the Messi manga, I think, right? Or animation, I forgot. Like, the card is auto 25, but the alarm is like 30 something. So that means more people than print run are interested, right? Enough to have an alarm next to it to be notified instantly. So in that case, if you are one of the guys who hits this card, just be patient with it. You can ask people or use existing data, because some of the existing data are not efficient sales. So you probably want to find out the true sale, right? There are many ways. You could list very high and drop down, but sometimes you miss out this formal, right? I think if you can pinpoint the market price, if you price a little bit higher, you can get a higher sale. But if you put much higher than market and people actually want to offer you lower than the market, and you actually get a swing of 2x, like one half of the offer you would have gotten. So yeah, you have to be, if you want a quick sale, you have to price things nicely. And how to determine the value, right? Maybe we end on this. So you could calculate, maybe let me say why sports card as a category is very interesting, right? Because every card is related to another card. You can go through different years to relate. There's some connection, and different player in the set, they are connected. And there's print run based on rarity ratio and price ratio. So every card selling well or in demand will have a general tendency to bring other cards up, right? At least in theory. So the whole thing is kind of like one organism, right? Very organic. This is very different to other categories where each things are completely different. So this is very good. But using this mindset, right, you can calculate or at least triangulate to a range or to an order of magnitude of cards from existing sales to what it could be, like by using the ratio between different players, ratio between different years, and ratio between different parallels, right? And also you can ask people, you can listing higher and dropping down, or just be patient. I think the price will tend to discover to a higher price. And also use all the data you have. There are a lot of data on the page. Explore all the buttons. And let me know if you have any questions, okay? Okay, I think that's all. What else? There is an Excel list they posted on the Panini Discord. If you ask Soccer Channel, I'll link you. Yeah, Singapore Texan has a list of a desirable player in the set. But you can also collect it based on the desirable team, like France, Spain, England, Brazil, Argentina, right? Those kind of thing. Or go by the popular insert. I think the checklist there tend to be the best player also. Okay, we have seen some crypto friends here also. So basically I just want to give everybody a fair chance to know there's this drop. It's EV positive. It's a nice way to get in. There's upshot of blockchain collecting. It's nice complementary to the physical. It's not like one or the other, right? Nebula with true black, which is better in your opinion, on why? Right. In my opinion, I always like true black because that was the thing since early on, and there's a lineage, right? And a lot of data and consistency. But Nebula is very beautiful. In physical, it's very comparable, right? I think this I said it's kind of dual anchor price action because different people believe in different categories, and one serve as a floor of the other, right? So the price kind of jump between different sales alternatingly. So it's always nice to have multiple reference points. Personally, I like Black more, and Yamal blockchain Prizm Black base has offer 125K, the Nebula has 100K, but that's just one person, right? It could, and also the offer just one data points. It could be more, or it could be less if he removed the offer, right? So that's more or less. I think I'll keep this as a recording, and always feel free to drop me a DM, leave a comment, or you can join the Panini Discord. The easiest way is to, I think you'll probably get some email, right? From Panini, there's information, but you also can go to X. There's a like Panini tracker, which shows all the sales, which are 200 USD or above. And each of the posts has a comment where there's a link to the official Discord. You can go in there. There are nice community members there. People prefer to hang in Discord than on social media. So if you don't see much on social media, that doesn't represent the community not there, right? It's very active in Discord. Okay, that's all. It's almost like 1 a.m. We have like an hour and 47 minutes. Okay, cool. And I think next Wednesday, the hobby pack, same story. If the FOTL pack 2 or 3x, right, the hobby pack will be, although the larger volume, I think it will also get sold out really quick because the allocation is 30, right? The pack size is 3.5x, but the allocation is also 3x. So nothing changed, right? And if FOTL does well, it only make the hobby version no-brainer. So it's, if you miss out FOTL, there's also early wave, but also the hobby version next week, right? All the big cards like Black can be put from a hobby as well as FOTL. Okay, see you guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.